Premium quality football shirts at an extremely affordable price. Sound good? If so, check out the sponsor of today's video, jerseyfifa.com. You can see that I've sent you some shirts and they really are top quality, so make sure to click the link in the description to go find a shirt for yourself or perhaps as a gift for someone else. And you can now use code jerseyfifa at checkout for 10% off your order. That's code jerseyfifa at checkout for 10% off your order. I really do recommend their product, so go take a look. Now let's get into the analysis. So since Erik ten Hag came into the club, I've been looking at how it may affect a few of the young players at Manchester United. We started with James Garner and spoke about how he could be a good solution to some of the midfield problems. Whilst we also spoke about Hannibal as well and said how a loan move may perhaps be the best option for him, although we also discussed how he could potentially have a role in the team. But today we're going to be continuing that trend of looking at these young players, and today we're talking about the young exciting prospect that is of course Garnacho. Garnacho has been hyped up quite a lot over the past couple of months, so I thought today we'd take a look at him. First, just a bit of a background check. Garnacho is 17 years old and he is eligible to play for Spain, although in recent times he has been in the Argentina squad, and he of course currently plays for the Manchester United youth team. So we now know his age and nationality, but we don't really know anything about him as a footballer. So to get things started, Garnacho is predominantly a winger. He can play on the right hand side, but he certainly prefers the left. So we know his position, let's take more of a look at his strengths and weaknesses as a player. We'll come back to his weaknesses towards the end of the video, but first let's start the video on a positive and take a look at his strengths. So first things first, one of Garnacho's strengths is his intelligence, and in this sense he's very good at scanning his surroundings to find space in order to receive the pass, and this is a very good thing for such a young player to have already. Having gotten into a bit of space to receive the pass, Garnacho crucially has a very good first touch and his control is excellent, and with his first touch he is great at throwing the opposition off balance, giving him an early advantage. Having gotten this slight advantage over the defender, Garnacho is then very often able to absolutely burn past defenders with his raw pace, allowing him to speed away from the defender and into the open grass in front of him. Obviously there isn't always this space to burst into, and sometimes Garnacho will receive the ball in tight spaces, but again in these sorts of scenarios, Garnacho has really good quick feet and dribbling ability to beat players. To be honest, this is probably the most impressive thing about Garnacho as a player. He certainly has other impressive attributes, but for me the most exciting thing about him is his quick feet and explosiveness with the ball at his feet. Using this dribbling ability, Garnacho very often likes to move into more central areas, so despite starting the match on the left wing, he can very often be seen in these narrower areas as he looks to cut inside closer to goal. Having drifted infield with the ball, Garnacho is by no means a selfish player on the ball, and in these types of situations he very often looks to bring his teammates into the game with quick passing into play in and around the box. In this sense, Garnacho is an extremely direct player. He isn't a player that will keep the ball for the sake of it, he is always looking to get the ball moving forward as quickly as possible, and it's for this reason I would call him a direct player. Now, this can be a positive or a negative. It means that Garnacho is going to create a lot of opportunities as he's looking to play forward, but it also means he can lose the ball if he's playing in a bit of a rush and forcing it too much. As I said there, it can lead to Garnacho losing the ball needlessly, but it can also lead to moments of pure quality, and really does love having a pop at goal even from outside the box, having cut inside onto his right. Now, unlike some players, Garnacho is by no means predictable with his finishing, as he has a few different types of finishes in his locker, and he's great at cutting inside onto his right before then driving it hard and low into the bottom corner. Although actually probably his preferred type of finish is when he's able to open his body up slightly to bend the ball towards the far corner, so I would certainly recommend checking out some compilations if you want to see his finishing ability. There's probably a few compilations on his dribbling ability as well, because Garnacho is a player that has a lot of flair and excitement to his game. We obviously spoke about that with his dribbling earlier, and his flair is something he always has to offer. It means that Garnacho can make something out of pretty much nothing. Using that direct style and that bit of flair, Garnacho can get the ball, produce some magic before then smashing the ball into the back of the net from range. However, Garnacho doesn't just rely on these spontaneous moments of magic, and as I was saying right at the start, he is very intelligent with his off the ball movement, which allows him to get into goal scoring situations on a regular basis. Again, if we combine this with his speed that we were talking about earlier, it makes for a deadly weapon, as Garnacho is able to time his run perfectly before bursting through in order to latch onto some form of through ball. So, a bit of a recap. Garnacho is very intelligent on the ball and he carries a constant threat with his pace in behind the defence, although without doubt his best attribute is his dribbling, and that's what excites people the most. So we've looked at the positive side to his game, but it's important to remember that Garnacho is still just 17 years old, so he has a lot of room for improvement in his game, and certainly right now he does have a few weaknesses which we need to look at. So one of the most frustrating things about Garnacho is that he does lose the ball a lot. I was saying earlier that he plays in a very direct manner, but this does sometimes lead to him making the wrong decisions, so he loses the ball too easily. One thing that will obviously help with this is experience. Garnacho is still a very raw talent with a lot to learn, but a lot of this will come with playing time and experience, so all of these things aren't too much of a concern. If we carry on, Garnacho does need to improve his work out of possession. Don't get me wrong, he isn't lazy, but at times he can be erratic in the way that he presses, leading to him gambling a little bit, which then means he can get bypassed too easily. In this sense, Garnacho actually reminds me of Bruno Fernandes a little bit, in the sense that at times he rushes towards the ball too much, but as I said, at times this makes it far too easy for the opposition to simply play the ball around him. Now, fortunately for Garnacho, he is going to get some chances to work with a brilliant coach, and Ten Hag certainly will help Garnacho refine this side of his game, so I would assume that this side of his game will improve over time. So we've looked at Garnacho's best position, we've looked at some of his best attributes that he has to offer as a footballer, whilst we have also looked at some of his weaknesses as well, so now it's time for a bit of a summary and overview. So overall, I personally think that Garnacho looks like an extremely exciting young talent, and he is certainly a name to remember for the future. He looks great already, so I'm quite excited to see how he develops over the next couple of seasons. It does look like he's ready for that next step already. We can see from his stats this season that he is more than comfortable with the level that he is currently playing at, so maybe it's time for him to take that next step in his development. Garnacho has also shown that pressure doesn't seem to get to him too much. He's delivered for the youth team in some of the biggest games this season, and when the side has needed him the most, he has been able to deliver more often than not. This form has obviously been recognised as well. Garnacho got his first call up to the Argentina squad earlier this year, and at 17 years old that is a very good sign, because the current Argentina squad does have a lot of very good players. That's a testament to Garnacho as a player. The Argentina squad is full of good players, but Garnacho has so much magic to offer to any side, so he probably deserved that call up, but he probably isn't ready to be a regular yet. Moving forward, the main thing that Garnacho needs is refinement, both from a tactical point of view and a technical point of view as well, but as I've been saying throughout the video, that will all come with coaching and importantly experience. So perhaps that's the most important thing for Garnacho right now. How can he get more experience? Well, that's what Manchester United and Garnacho need to figure out next. What is the best way for him to take that next step in his career? Well, if we're being completely honest, Garnacho's opportunities in the first team look like they might be quite limited over the next 12 months or so, simply because Manchester United already have clear quality players in the squad already. As a result, the best approach for Garnacho may be to get a loan move away from the club. But if that is the case, I want you guys to let me know in the comments where you think he could go and what loan move would be the best for him and his career. Because he is clearly such a talented young player, so it is vital to get the next stage of his development right. If it is done right and he can stay fit, then Manchester United could have an absolute gem on their hands, so remember the name. Garnacho is one to watch. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in the next one.